Today we will be talking about time. I would use this lesson in a 3rd grade classroom as they are learning about telling time in 15, 30, and 45-minute intervals. First I will address a common misconception that many students have. So what do we know about time? We know that it is different than if we were to count normally. When we were to count normally, we would be regrouping at every 10th number. But when we are using time, we regroup at every 60th number. So for example, say the time is 9:55 and we want to add 5 minutes. If we were to add this like a normal problem, we would do 5 plus 5, getting 10, regrouping the 1, 5 plus 1 is 6, and we would get that it was 9:60. But we know that 9:60 is not a time. So therefore, when we come to a situation like this, where the minutes add up to 60, we regroup this whole 60 and regroup a 1 over to this 9. So we would know that instead of the time being 9:60, when adding 5 minutes to 9:55, the time would then be 10, because we have to regroup this minutes portion because it has reached 60. Now let's take a look at a word problem involving time, where we can practice a little bit more on regrouping. The problem reads, if Bobby's school starts at 8:45 a.m. and there are 2 hours and 30 minutes until he goes to PE, what time does he go to PE? The method we're going to use to solve this is a number line. So when telling time with a number line, your starting point of your number line is the starting time. So in this example, it was 8:45 a.m. Now I'm going to create my number line, and I will make this last part of my number line 12 p.m. Okay, so now that we've talked about regrouping, we can look at this 8:45 a.m. If we're going to be adding 2 hours and 30 minutes, we want to try and get to the next whole hour to make it easier for us to be adding. Pop this up. So, how many minutes until our next whole hour? Or in other words, 45 plus what gets us to 60. We know that if we add 15 minutes to 45, that will get us to 60, therefore letting us regroup to the next whole number, which would be 9 a.m. So that will be your first jump. We will start at 8:45 and jump 15 minutes, bringing us to 9 a.m. Now we have gone 15 minutes of our total 2 hours and 30 minutes. So that means we still have 2 hours and 15 minutes left. I'm just going to leave this 15 minutes here so that we can be adding up the amount of jumps that we have until we get to 2 hours and 30 minutes. So now that we're at 9 a.m., we are at a nice whole hour, we can make 2 hour jumps each. So we will go from 9 a.m. jumping to 10 a.m. and then 10 a.m. jumping to 11. When using a number line, it is important to try and make your jumps as relative to each other as possible. So for these hour-long jumps, we want to try and make them the same size, and we want them to be bigger than our 15-minute jumps. So now we have gone 1 hour, jumping from 9 to 10 a.m., and then an additional hour, jumping from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. So if we go down here to where we are keeping track, we can add 2 additional hours, and we will see that we have gone 2 hours and 15 minutes of our total of 2 hours and 30 minutes. So how many minutes do we need to go? We need to go an additional 15 minutes to answer our question. So we will do a 15 15-minute jump, bringing us to 11:15 a.m. And we can go back and check this to make sure we have gone all of our hours. And we will see that 15 plus 15 is 30, 1 plus 1 is 2. So we've gone 2 hours and 30 minutes. So if he gets to school at 8:45, in 2 hours and 30 minutes when he goes to PE, it will be 11:15. So starting at 8:45, we did a 15-minute jump to 9, a 1-hour jump to 10, another 1-hour jump to 11 a.m., and then a 15-minute jump to 11:15. Meaning he will be going to PE at 11:15.